Wow, still people here. It's good. You guys are keeners. This presentation, I'm gonna shrink it a bit because we went over overtime. That's fine. So it's about simplifying operations with automation. So I'm gonna run a few slides just to tell you why you need automation, and then a few slides telling you how you can make it happen. How can you do automation? And then, of course, I'm gonna have a movie. I hope you brought the popcorn, because there's a little movie at the end. So I figured the best way to pass the message is not to go heavy in slides, have a little movie, and then we will wrap up this session. It says new technology, you're going to get demand out of that, customer demand. They don't want you to improve your network and make sure you can improve the coverage of your network, your connectivity, your resiliency, your latency. And this is a great opportunity for you to generate new revenue with these demands. And if you look at the strategies like the vendors put out, the product research, the operators and all that, they give you all these different types of architecture, and they come with base design that shows you the concept. But we all know as developers and as you're doing your design of your network, it always comes down to custom design that's specific for you, for your requirements. So we all know that you're absolutely unique, and we believe that in services that we can help you better by showing to you our best practices. And today is going to be the practices on automation. So this is probably an important slide. It's actually the most important slide. It has the main benefits of automation. There's kind of 4 of them, and they're very, very important, and they apply to many different types of architectures. Basically, when you're doing automation, you want to remove the humans from the automation. And sometimes people forget that. They say, oh, I have automation, I have 100 users doing CLI typing, so it's kind of an automation. But it's not, because people do typos, people type the wrong data, wrong profiles, wrong QoS and all that, and it creates big issues in the network. Even during this session here, I had a customer meeting, and somebody created a spoke SDP in the network. It causes all this broadcasting, and it was an error done in CLI. But it's not just CLI. There's also people say, I'm going to look at the vendor network management platform. I'm going to build my own application orchestration system. And you build it. It's a portal maybe. You build it, and then you realize you've automated it, but there's 100 steps to do what you want to do. So you still have the human in there. So this is very important. So if you're going to automate, automation has no humans. It's machine to machine. But obviously there's an event, there's a click of a button to make things happen, either from a higher system. And when you do that, you get high quality. And this is very important. So when you're thinking of this transformation of your network, you need to remember that you want to think how it's going to get automated, all your design of your network, how it's all going to get automated by the operational team. Another thing with the automation is it's consistent. So there's all these designs of the network that's done at one point, and then time goes by and things are changing and the network is evolving, the growth, the scalability and all that stuff. And your design gets out of whack of what's in the network. So basically it becomes inconsistent. So when you automate, you're eliminating that, because your automation has your network design in it. The other thing too is efficiency. Obviously, when it's machine to machine, if you're typing, it takes a long time to enter data, and you cannot go as fast as a machine. So this is very, very efficient. You can do thousands of provisionings, deployment of services, and it knows if it was successful, not successful. It can roll back and all that. So this is a great, great value. And I think the last one is another one that's interesting. When you do all that, your target network is predictable. So you know the behavior, how it should behave, your network. So you can test for that. You can run a bunch of a test case on it and check how your network is behaving, if it's sane or not. So automation is very, very important. And that's the only slide I want you to remember from this presentation. Now, if you look at the 5G use case, I picked 5G, but it kind of applies also to other designs. If you look at the 5Gs, there's many, many, many changes in the network that needs to be done to provide the capacity on the network, the resiliency, the latency, and all that. So there's going to be a lot of change on the network. And also to get that throughput in for 5G, you're going to have to upgrade a lot of parts in the network. And if you look at the cell sites, you may be deploying a lot of cell sites, density, deploying nodes, validating the nodes. There's going to be a lot of work there for the size of the network for 5G. And for the management, well, the management is going to be managing millions of IoT devices, and there's going to be thousands of transactions, and all this has to be taken into account. And this is going to put a humongous pressure on your operational team. So when you're doing this and you're transforming either to 5G, even if you have data centers, SDN, whatever, you're putting pressure on your operational team to adapt to this. Like all the systems are in place now for OSS and everything, and now you're moving to SDN. It's all about automation, orchestrations, and all that. So it's very important to think about automation to offload these guys, and so they can think about just the things that goes wrong in the network. So what should be automated is just as a best practice from professional service, what I've seen the last 15 years, and for 5G it will be the same. To me, it's like you can automate network assessment and the capacity of your network. So you automate this to get the information from your network and to figure out, is it even feasible on this network to put 5G on it? Does it have the capacity? And it gets all the information. You can automate the deployment. We know to grow the network, you're going to need lots of nodes, cell site deployments, and everything. So you want that deployment to be automated and also validated automatically. The service migration, so for 5G, you're going to be moving all these customer services to 5G. So there's quite a bit of, a lot of customers are going to get moved. So you need to automate the migration. And I say the last one is also very important and kind of gets missed, I find. A lot of people will do maybe the first 3 boxes. The network testing on a regular basis is going to be very, very important. Because if you're changing the network consistently, all the time, because it's going to take a long time to have every customer on 5G, or you want to make sure your network is sane, that you know it's behaving the way you thought it was going to behave. So just an example of network assessment, basically, network assessment is all about getting the information from the physical layer, the cards, the ports, the node, the software versions, the links. It gets all that so that you know what's out there. And then there's the logical part of it, the configuration, so all the total numbers of service. So this is very important because a lot of times as you evolve the network, the services don't become exactly what they were supposed to be. You have different types of services. Some are like multi-services, point-to-point services. You have all these different types of services. So when you extract that from network assessment, you make sure they are what you think they are, and then you mark the ones that are not complying. And then you check for network failure. So you want to know the network that I have now, can I actually, if a trunk goes down, is it actually going to switch to the other one? Or the ones that I knew if they go down, I would lose connectivity, but I was okay with that. You want to make sure what's out there is what you think it is. And then the last one is if you want to scale it, like you want to add more customers, more throughput, and all that, can that network even do that, right? You may not have enough bandwidth on those links. So that's network assessment. This is something that we automate. The next one is migration. So migration, we've been doing this for many years, but if you look at for the 5G, what's on the left is like your present mode of operation. What's on the right is your future mode, is your target network you want to go to. True? So before you do something like that, you would get network assessment done. You would get a migration strategy in place so that when you're ready to do the migrations of all those services types, that you know how you're going to do it, how you're going to contact the customers and all that. And you give that migration strategy plan to whoever is doing the migration. So in this case here on the left side at the bottom is a Nokia team. So we give the migration strategy to them and they're ready to go. And in the maintenance window, before it migrates the service, it's going to go touch the legacy network and figure out, is that service still there? Or did somebody already modified it? Oh, nobody modified it? Is it still up? Is it still operational? Because if it's down and I migrate it, it's going to be down anyways. But it has to be all sane when I grab the services and I move it to the new target. Everything is okay, then the migration ecosystem would send it to the provisioning platform or either done by another system. And it sends it to it, and it sends it to the new network, and then it tests the service and does pre-check. All good, you're going to move on to the next service, the next customer. If it's not good, there's a rollback. So that's kind of a migration, the way you do migration, and you want to automate that as much as possible. So this is the part I was saying that's very important. So we do this for our customers. Like we do a lot of migrations for our customers, a lot of upgrades for our customers. We have robots that does automation for migration and testing. This one is on testing. So if you can look, if you automate it, like on the left side is a manual approach. It's like 7-8 hours for 2 runs if you did the test case manually. And a lot of times you have like a 70 test case that you would run on the network for a given architecture, depending what you're testing. But if you automate it, we were getting like 54 hours for the second run. So it was down quite a bit. Now, if you're doing this, if you want to do this many times, you automate it, and you can keep repeating the process. And then you would get a more efficient gain. You would get up to 80% efficient on the automation. So this is very important, and you want to do this on a regular basis so that you know that this is important that your network is behaving the way it's supposed to behave. Now I would say the last one is the managing of the execution. So you have a lot of customers, you're moving, you're going to have a delivery team, Nokia or yourself or whatever, and then you're going to have a third party. And it's important that you have that whole managing execution process, and you can automate as much as possible those workflows, because there's a time to do this and there's a cost to do this. So at Nokia, we have systems in place with portals and everything, dashboard with workflow engine. The workflow engine is automated by robots to do this, and then we schedule the task, the resource, the time, and we automate this so that we keep the cost down, and also so it'll be efficient. This is the last slide before the video. But so to wrap it up, summarize it quickly, those are the main blocks. Like if you're going to do automation, you should do automation on network assessment, automation on network deployment, so that the deployment can be done fast. You're going to need to migrate your customers. You want to automate that. You put automation in the process management box. And the last one would be the network testing. And the way you can do that with software, applications. You can buy products, like Nokia sells products that does automation, one click, boom, does everything for you with workflows and all that. Or you can have a system that are robots and that you would spin off things when you want to do certain automation application. So now we can run, just to let you know, so I'm going to run just a video showing the Nokia automation engine, thousands of robots. So you can run the video now.